So the next day I kept King from school because D still wanted him to like get up and do his normal routine that he does in the morning. Wake up, take the dogs outside with Jackson, you know, give them water, and then wait around until I take Jackson to school. So that morning, King was already up. He had already did his routine, and I was just like, "No, King, go lay back down. Go lay back down." D was in the living room. He was like, I told him to still get his work done, but I told him after they get done giving the dogs water that he can go to bed while you take Jackson to school. And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, right, I do gotta take Jackson to school, so that means I am leaving here. So I'm like, he can just ride with me, and I'll go pick us up some breakfast on the way back. So I gotta figure out what he can eat with his mouth like that. And D kind of just looked at me and was just like, okay, all right. And I was just like, all right, well, King, go put your shoes on, your jacket and shoes on. You gonna ride me to take Jackson. He was like, okay. So we load up in the car, and I'm just thinking, I know the only reason why he let me take King is because he could track my location. Like, if he wasn't able to track my location, he wouldn't have let me take King. So we in the car. I dropped Jackson off at school, and on the way back, I was asking King how he was feeling, like how his mouth was feeling. He was just like, it hurts. So I went to the store to pick him up some more Tylenol, because I was running low on the Tylenol. So I went and picked him up some more Tylenol, and I made grits for him to eat, grits and oatmeal, because he loved him some oatmeal and grits. So I made him both for his breakfast. When we had got back to the house, he ate, and then I gave him some medicine, put some cream on his gums, and he laid down. When he woke up, his gums were starting to turn green a little bit. So I called the dentist and let her know that, hey, his gums are turning green. I let the person that answered, like, hey, I got a question for the dentist. You know, he came in with his gums pushed back, and she gave him some cream, and his gums are turning green. Like what is that? He said he's in a lot of pain. And then they got back with me to tell me that that's just a part of the healing process. It's going to just keep putting the cream on it. His surgery is scheduled in the next few days, so he should be fine. And I'm just like, okay. A part of me wanted to ask if somebody reported anything. Like, I just wanted to ask, because I felt like at this point somebody would have contacted me, because we're like into the next day. Somebody should have contacted me by now. So I'm like, I wonder what's like, did she file the report? Did that story make sense to her? Like what was it? So I'm just like, okay, all right. So when I'm in my room, and I'm just thinking back on like everything, and I'm just like, I don't know if she reported it. Like, I don't know. And then I get a call from the school, like, of course, informing us that, you know, King was marked absent, and then he needs some proof on why he was absent, you know, for it to be excused or whatever. I was just like, you know what? He's been out of school for the last 2 days. I'm going to send him to school. Like, I'm going to send him to school and explain the same story to his teacher. It's the school. They gonna know, because you know she knows King. She knows his attitude. So it's like, she gonna know something. I'm gonna give her this same story. Like, yeah, I'm gonna let him go to school tomorrow. But then on the other hand, I was like, if he's in pain, I don't want him at school in pain. Like, I don't want him in pain. And I'm just like, I'll just see how it goes when you wake up in the morning. So the next morning came. King, he was already up, because Jackson them did their little routine. I was just like, King, how you feeling? And he gave me the thumbs up. And I was like, how your mouth feeling? He's like, I'm okay. And I'm like, do you want to go to school? He said, yes. I was like, okay, go put your school clothes on. I'm going to take you to school, okay? And D was coming out of the bathroom when I said that. And D looked at me. He was like, you going to school? I'm like, yeah. You know, they wearing masks, so they probably not going to see it anyway, you know? And he said he want to go to school. And they going to keep calling me about him being out of school, and we're going to have to explain why he missing so many days. He was like, well, he got a doctor's note. I'm sorry, I know that, but he want to go to school. Just let him go to school. And this way, I can do some door dashing and get some money coming in, because I hadn't been able to door dash. He was just like, okay, all right. And did you think about that trainer offer I presented? I'm like, not yet. It's just so much going on right now, so I don't know yet. He's like, I was also thinking you could probably do brunch with Jasmine this weekend. And I looked at him, I'm like, you want me to do brunch with Jasmine this weekend? He was like, yeah, you should do brunch with Jasmine. I'm like, I'll see if she's not busy. I'll call and see. Cause in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to brunch with nobody and leave these kids with you. Hell no, I ain't doing that. I'm like, no. He was like, oh no, I had already asked Cook was she doing anything this weekend, and Cook said they not doing nothing this weekend, and she can go to brunch. I'm like, not you setting me up on a date? Like, what the fuck? What? I'm like, D, how y'all just gonna tell us we going to brunch? He's like, but ain't that your friend? I'm like, yeah, but it's a lot going on. He's like, no, go to brunch, enjoy yourself. I'm like, we'll see. I'll talk to Jazz. I'll talk to Jazz and see. He's like, no, we already talked to her. She's excited about it. She's excited about y'all going brunch, because you know y'all love y'all brunch. And I was like, I'll talk to her, and we'll see. We'll see. Because, you know, we still got to figure out where we're going to go to brunch if we go to brunch. He's like, okay. So, King came down. I took them to school. I dropped Jackson off at the front, and then I parked the car, and I walked King to his classroom. Because his teacher stands outside the door of his classroom, you know, every day for the parents. So, I walked him up to the class, and the teacher was like, oh, hey, King David, we miss you. And King was just kind of like looking at her. He had his mask on. And she was just like, is everything okay? I was like, yeah, he had a little accident. She was like, oh no, what happened? I was like, well, according to his dad, he was outside playing with the dogs, and one of the dogs brushed up behind him, and he hit his mouth on the concrete. So his mouth, his gums are swollen, and he has to have surgery to get his teeth removed. She was like, oh no. And I took King's mask off. I'm like, see, and I was showing her. She was like, oh my God, he did that by falling? I was like, yeah, his dad said that he fell. The dog brushed up behind him, and he fell and hit his face on the concrete. She was like, was he on a balcony or anything? Like on a high step or anything? I'm like, no. The dog just brushed up behind him, and he fell and hit his face on the concrete. She was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. So he's supposed to have surgery tomorrow, actually, but he wanted to come to school today. But just let me know if you notice any like pain or anything, and I'll come pick him up. And she was just like, have you guys been able to contact his mom? Because the teacher knew that I wasn't his biological mom. Like, she knew that. Because I let her know when he started. I was like, I know he was diagnosed with he was developmentally delayed. And because I was like giving her like his little rundown, I was like, he's just starting, using sentences, forming full sentences, like getting his words clear. He's in speech therapy. Like, we don't have no contact with his mom. We can't find his mom. So I gave her the rundown on King in the beginning of the school year. So she asked me if y'all still not been able to find his mom. I was like, no. And she was like, so when did all of this happen? I was like, oh, this happened like 2 days ago, and I took him to the dentist. No, right after it happened. She was like, oh my God, that must have been terrifying for that baby. I was like, yeah. And I was just so surprised because his dad was just like, the dogs knocked him down, and he hit his face on the concrete. But for it to push back like that, I was just, I knew I needed to take him to the dentist immediately. So I'm trying to plant seeds in the teacher's head. Like, yeah, look, his dad, this happened. Because I'm just like, I know this story does not make sense. It would make sense if I would have added he was on a balcony or something, like on a step or something, and he tumbled. That possibly could have made sense. But for him to be 3 feet, 3 feet off the ground, just standing up, and the dog brushed behind me, he hit his mouth on the concrete and pushed his gums back. I'm like, somebody, if anybody, it's gonna be her to know that don't make sense.